I do want to play Metroid Prime 4 in hard mode, though. I am interested in that. The game's really fun. I really do think that they did a good job at a lot of different things. It's just like sometimes it's almost worse when a game is disappointing but also good, because if it's just bad, you can just sort of ignore it. You know, this game is like almost really good, but there's just some things that you could tell happened in development at some point that they just could not recover from, and they had to get that game out. And that's really Retro's first game that they released, the developers, in 12 years. So you gotta wonder too if like they had like, you know, didn't really have much they can go back on, and who knows what happens to their other games that they had worked on after Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze. I am interested in whatever the hell they do next, but yeah, tonight my plan is hopefully I just finish a run, and hopefully it's the run. But if it's not the run, I'll probably finish a run, do some practice. We'll do some Hades 2. I still gotta beat that game. I'm really close to beating that one too. This year is probably, I hadn't played like a wide number of games. I had generally the ones that I had gotten and started, I had beaten and spent a decent amount of time on, but this year I think is the year that I've beaten the most games in general, which is pretty cool, or at least since like 2021. Not in general, that's probably like 2017, 2016. It does always amaze me, especially like Game Awards stuff happens and then you talk to people, like real people, not randoms on whatever social media, and they'll have played like almost all of the nominees, and you're like, how the fuck is that? How's that possible? Not even in a judgmental way, it's just like, damn. You really got the finger on the pulse, dude. It's the sort of like, I question, it's sort of jealousy that I get when like a speedrunner is able to play a game like 30-40 hours a week. Like, damn, I wish that was me. See how much easier this would be if I had like a dedicated per day like 2-3 hours of just practice. So much easier. I know that because whenever I practice I play a lot better. Okay. I always go on that wall as if like setting up that storage jump and then just never go for it. It's the correct move to never go for it, but it's actually faster if I just went right to Bandage Girl. Dude, I gotta DM 2 people tomorrow. I'm already dreading it. I can do it though, I'm a big boy. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Mine was pretty good, although really it's been mostly family and Metroid Prime 4. So it's been good. Something that I realized like actually years ago is that something that I do actually really tend to enjoy is, I've been saying this as well, is that I just like 2026 is kind of like a year where I'm like, huh, what's even coming out? I know that there's Mugenics, there's Meat Boy 3D, there's this other game, I forget the name of it, it's like Demon something, that's like a 3D platformer. The dev that's making Bubsy 4D is doing it. Anyways, that game's awesome. There's Yoshi coming out in, I think it's just spring. But then after that, I just have no idea. For me, that's awesome, though, because I have so many games that I still need to catch up and play. Plus, it's awesome because if any of them are good speedruns, I feel like I can just spend all the time there. I've also been like trying to stay derusted in the game that I have backup for at AGDQ. This is No Cave, and that game I found is actually extremely easy to stay derusted for, and I have no idea why, because it's actually pretty precise and difficult, but I can generally get within a minute of PB pretty consistently. And deaths in that game are like, can be like 15-20 seconds long. Nice. One thing that I've realized for a little bit is something I didn't realize last year, just because I don't pay that much attention to the NFL, was that the Steelers had a game last year on the Sunday, well, I guess the night before AGDQ started, so the Saturday, and I was like, damn, I should have just gotten there a day earlier on Saturday and then gone to that game. That'd have been sick. It was Sunday Night Football and everything, or Saturday Night Football, I mean, which they didn't know until like a week before that it was gonna be Saturday Night Football, but either way, I would have made sure of that. And so this year I noticed the Steelers they do have like a game that week in Pittsburgh. I'm like pretty convinced that it's gonna get moved to either Sunday Night Football or Saturday Night Football. And if that's the case, I'm so going to that game. I haven't been to an NFL game since like 2007. The 49ers starting quarterback on that game was like Cody Pickett or something like that. It was back when everyone was convinced Alex Smith was a bust, which he kind of was at the time, but in fairness, the 49ers stunk. So, like it was Alex Smith's fault. Can you hurry up, Bush Girl? Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Also, the Candlestick Park was legitimately the coldest stadium I've ever been to in my life. Like, there's no way if I do go to that Steelers game, it'll probably be like 12 degrees, and there's just no chance at all that it will be colder than Candlestick Park was. Holy shit. It's so windy in there. It's freezing. You had to bring like a jacket. It could be like 60 degrees outside of it. I feel like it was like 12 degrees in there. All right, finally. It still amazes me how they put AGDQ in Pittsburgh, but I guess they had it in DC for years before that, and I guess technically it wasn't DC, it was somewhere in Virginia, but it was like right outside of DC. And it's freezing cold there too. I can't believe every day I curse the state of Florida. They could have had AGDQ. It could have been in Orlando. It'd been better for everyone. Man. Fuck Ron DeSantis and fuck Rick Scott. Was that who it was? I think it was Rick Scott. Terrible. They ruined such a good thing. AGDQ in a place where it's both fairly cheap, both to get to and to stay, and also a place where it's like 60 degrees in the winter. My dream for that's still Atlanta, but because it's really cheap and easy to get to, but it does get cold there in the winter. So all I know is that I'm sure for people on the East Coast, getting to Pittsburgh's not that bad. There's like just no good flights to Pittsburgh, and they're super expensive. Move it out of there. Nice. That warp zone feels so fast. I guess it is fast. Whoa. A little bit risky on that. Not that risky, but like I was playing it fast, but I still wait on these no matter what, so there's no reason to go that fast. If I waited, it would have been safer. Whatever. I lived. Really, when you die anywhere between like light salts and before Ogmo, it does get really annoying just because it's really easy. And it does take like 20 minutes to get to Ogmo, so... Or more like 25 minutes. So it does feel like you just wasted 25 minutes of your time. What's up, Astronomy? How's it going? Thanks for the good luck. Hope you're doing well. Good to see ya. Whoa. I do like the end of hospitals relatively fast. Just have to wait at the end of 18, but other than that, nice and quick. Trying to land on this part too is also, like, I think unnecessarily risky. I almost just like jumped into a light, like a laser beam. Whoa. Okay. There's like some of those are half blocks, so you can run into invisible walls there, and for a second I thought I had like clipped to the ground and into the needles, which I had never seen before, and I still have never seen it, but I was not expecting that to happen.
Chapter complete.
Every single time I think about my route, I know that it's set up correctly, but I kind of wish that I had it set up to where the hardest stuff was actually at the end. Not because that actually I think is a very good strategy in terms of getting this as quickly as I can, because I think that, like, objectively speaking, it's the opposite. However, I do wish it from a sense of it would be way easier and faster to, like, or not faster necessarily, but way easier to get runs into, like, higher percentages. Whoa, the thing is, the run doesn't really feel like it started until I beat Cotton Alley anyways, so I did used to do earlier Dark Hospital, and it's not like that made the runs feel any closer. Oh, whoops, I forgot to eat the level. I've always wanted to jump all the way around and then immediately go into the opening there. I genuinely do not know if it's possible. I'm sure the task does it. I wish that there were like leaderboards for things like, I mean, most of all, just beating the level with the bandage, I think would be the more obvious one, but you know, since the game doesn't have the bandage there after you grab it, makes that sort of unrealistic. Ways around it, but the only like practical way is like with a mod to rewrite the memory of the game and make it think the bandage hasn't been grabbed. I'll just... But the other one would be just warp zones. It'd be cool. Granted, how many of them are actually like all that interesting? The 119 one could get kind of crazy. Messing up the auto jump or the timer glitch. Come on. All right. I do need to practice Ogmo more. If anything, just to be a little bit more confident on it. Like, I do practice it, but it's normally not until I die on it, and then I practice it, which is fine, but... It's probably just because it's the first hard thing in the run. It's probably the thing I die to the most. Oh, that jump specifically. There's the one jump in the last level here, but... Cool. The thing with the Meat Boy 3D demo that has me like thinking a little bit is that this 106 in general, it's honestly very rare that you don't get A+ and the bandage at the same time. Obviously normally I timer glitch there so that I can get both at the same time, but even so there's like a dozen levels where that's the case of the like 70 something that there are in normal levels. I guess I have to take away, it's really 1155 is really the number. So it's like 80% of them you can get and get A+ at the same time, like very realistically. Like this level as an example. This is one of the tighter ones, but... Oh, it's not even 55 actually. It's 7 times 5. 35. Okay, well then I guess it's like 66%. Maybe it's not as big. I was thinking that like 106 is actually really good because you're rarely replaying levels. Technically you're like not at all in the speedrun. I was wondering if maybe the A+ is being like much better than this game, which in the demo they are much better. There's no A+ that are as hard as like any of those. And it's not just me being way better at this, like straight up. They are much harder. And I was just thinking, well, I wonder how that would change a like a 106 run. But the more I think about it, the more it probably doesn't really matter all that much. I do wonder if this is going to be the first Meat Boy that's not going to have RNG affect the run. Meat Boy 3D. Because this has, you know, Glitch Girl and Larry. Forever is just 100% RNG. I guess technically there's no RNG if you do set seed, but I'm not saying set seed is bad. It's just that it has no interest. I have no interest in that personally. Yeah, I wonder how. I wonder how it's going to be for 3D. Did I not turn on my... I swear I turned on my fan. Maybe I turned it off. Maybe I ended up getting chilly. But yeah, even the worst case scenario, some of those A+ are so hard. What if like during a normal run you just don't get an A+? In this game, if you don't A+ one of the levels in an 80% run, it's kind of embarrassing. Like at least at a high enough level, right? But I feel like with 3D, it's not set up like this where if you make a small mistake, it doesn't matter. Like really, outside of, I don't know, 1 or 2 levels maybe, even then, if you have like a general strat and you do not die, you pretty much get A+, no matter what. But I do wonder if maybe they saw that as like a negative, where the A+ weren't actually very difficult. And so they wanted them to be more difficult as more of a challenge. But the way I saw A+ in this game was never like the way that I see it in like Donkey Kong Country Returns or Tropical Freeze or something like that, where they're actually like supposed to be really challenging. But instead is one to just like force you to go fast. But then again, maybe Meat Boy 3D is actually a little bit easier if you go slow. I kind of have my doubts, but... Okay, Glitch Girl. Technically, Glitch Girl shown up twice, but only for Commander video. I also really do hope that there's guest characters in that game, but I still am not holding my breath. I guarantee you it's skins. It's basically confirmed that every 10 or every however many bandages you unlock a new character, but if I had to put money on it, it would be that they're skins. Which is fine. you know? It's normal for a platformer even. But it is what makes 106% like such a fun speedrun. Is that you're playing as like 4 different characters. Really 3, plus the character warp zones, but still. All right, almost the hell. Good start. Okay, I need to just grab it. I was going for... I like to do this level as fast as I can. Not for any, like, tactical reason. Mostly just it's fun. I'm really afraid of whenever that missile turns around. And I haven't had it yet, but it should, like, explode on a surface, but I'm just so afraid that it's not going to do that. And I'm going to jump in such a way that it, like, curves through everything and hits me. That's such a weird camera glitch. Oh. I think yesterday I had, or not yesterday, this Friday, I had 2 runs that ended in Kid. Hopefully I'll do a little bit better. Every single time I practice Kid, it just goes perfectly. So, you know, what can you do? It's just the way it is with this, I guess, where certain things are just so challenging that it's a Bailey. Not gonna ever get it 100%. Congrats on the limit time offer. For the first night of, oh, is it the first night of Hanukkah? I'll try my best. Time to break out 8 Crazy Nights. One of the Adam Sandler films of all time. It's also your mom's birthday on the first day of Hanukkah? That's crazy. 10 stream streak? Whoa. That does remind me, no stream tomorrow. And potentially not one on Tuesday, but we'll see. Like, I want to stream, but High likelihood I'll be busy. Your bar mitzvah? Wait, I thought your birthday was in November. God, I thought it was in November. Not lighting candles, take it personally, my bad. Scheduling, so is the 8th, okay. Understood. Still a Scorpio, thank goodness. Girls hate that. Girls hate Scorpios. I'm annoying, so girls never talk to me about astrology. Like, honestly, I think it's actually kind of a good thing if you're like annoying in that sense, because it does like bring an immediate barrier to anybody who, like, I wouldn't want to date someone who's super into astrology. Not that I have that much of an issue with it. I'm just annoying. You know what I mean? So they know not to talk to me about it. It's just a huge win. Dating in 2025, yeah, that's true. I do feel like 2010 was probably when astrology was probably at its lowest. That was such a fast jump. I've never done that before. I always try to do it, and I never do it right. I literally only know that Scorpio was like October 22nd to November 22nd or something like that. I don't even know if those days are right. Show their sign. My sister had gotten had no interest in it really until she got a job at like a Safeway or something. This was probably like 2017 or 2018. And then she started talking about it. And she's like, Jesus Christ. What happened? Through November 21st. Gotcha. Nice. I keep forgetting I'm not doing that anymore. This one I'm not even concerned about, to be honest with you. It's the dark one that I don't like. Is there a correlation between that job and causing her to go into astrology? She just, yeah, I think people who work at Safeway are super into astrology. No, I just think that she became friends with people who were really into astrology. The Niger strat for the speedrun is so sick on this level. It is like a top 5 strat because it's not that hard. You just need to get like one super dash. And it's really fast and it's really fun. Not safe at all, though. I wish it was. It's so fun to do. And part of the reason why it's fun, I think, is because it's so dangerous. I mean, I don't either with astrology, but if somebody asks me what I think, I will do that, right? Like, I guess every single opinion I ever make on stream is pretty, like, who asked, you know? But in general, IRL, I'm not just, like, giving my 2 cents about things. But even then, I very much come off as the type of person who would be super against astrology, I think. Like, I just think that I give off anti-astrology vibes, and I, like, you know, not incorrect. I had to like verify that I was pretentious. Yeah, exactly. I think the world in general was pretty pretentious until like, I don't know, 2016, 2017. And we need to go back to a little bit of pretentiousness. I think it's good. The problem with it is that sometimes people are like, oh, do you even like anything? And it's like, yeah, of course, I love a lot of things. Of course I think that. Yeah, because I'm right. Doodly-doo-doo-doo. All right, time for the easiest split of the run. I meant the fakest split of the run because it's not even a full chapter. It's literally 2 warp zones. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's not time for that. I forgot. Time to grind for Glitch Girl. Oh, is this the wrong? Yes, this is the... I've never done that before. Grinding on the wrong... Yeah, I've never grinded on the wrong light versus dark. Imagine finishing a run 105%. I have done that. Not hard to imagine. It's honestly not hard to do at all. Whoa. The thing is in terms of moderation, 106%, if you're like really verifying it, would be one of the harder ones. When I was a mod, there wasn't very many people that were grinding 106% to a high enough level to where you needed to like really look at it. But if you were to, it's actually like, first of all, you don't have to beat every single level to get 106%. I'm doing it in this run because, come on. But you don't need to do that. You actually technically to get 106% don't need to get all the bandages, but it is a requirement to beat all the levels and get all the bandages for the category. It's just that the game displays 106 when you don't do that. So you actually could very easily forget something and it still says 106%. %106% is everything. There is like one exception, and it's if you play like the PS Vita version, you can't really beat 719X, and so you can skip that level. But it's not like you'd get world record playing the Vita version anyways. Like it literally doesn't matter. Yeah, it's basically the same as the speedrun requirements. But getting 105% is really easy because all it means is that you like forgot to grind for Glitch Girl. And if you're like, it could be really easy to forget because you can just have, oh, I swore I got it. And then you didn't actually get it. But checking for bandages with moderation is actually pretty easy too because you just check that they unlocked Kid. Or not unlock Kid, unlock Steve. Yeah, it's really easy to forget. The only time, like, especially if your split's not very good. If it is a good split, you'll immediately be like, why did I just gold by 20 seconds? But if it's already bad, you can just be like, oh. Finally, this is over. Just forget Glitch Girl. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's easy enough to forget to do a warp zone too, but you'll find out that you didn't. You'll realize something's off. Unless you're relatively new to the category, or maybe you just swapped your route. But that one's easy because you're literally just playing through the levels twice. Ever play One Shot? Yeah, forever ago. Back like when it came out. Because people were like, oh, it's cool. It's like Undertale. I was like, okay. I'll play it. It's really not like Undertale at all. But it's a good game. Because it's meta, yeah. And in our, yeah, I mean, they have their similarities, but they're, I remember people put One Shot in. I don't remember One Shot being about depression at all. What's up, Sparky? But people always lump it in the quirky indie game about depression thing. But how many of those games even are there? Not that many. I always feel like that description is really just talking about Undertale. But people want it to be about more games. I mean, it's obviously also Celeste, but okay, now we're at 2 games. What are the other, like, games people actually care about? Lisa, I suppose. But what's up, Andra? One Shot is not about it. That's what it's been so long that I hardly remember the story of that game. I'm just like, this is not. But people lump it in with that. But again, I think because just 100% aesthetics. Lisa and Off both are. I mean, it's definitely a thing that happens. It's just that people describe it to talk about way more games. I saw people do that with the game of the year. This year being like, oh, are you a AAA game or I don't remember if it was game of the year. Maybe it was just indies. But it implied that both Hades and Silksong were about depression in some sort of way, and it's like, not. I like roughly know the story of Silksong, but my understanding is like not really. All right, cool. Cool. We're past the really hard part of the early game, and now we get to be at the easy part before the really, really hard part. What's up, Legally Sam? Yeah, that's what I thought. Hades is also just not about depression. There's nobody that is depressed in that game. That I have met, at least. What's up, Duluth? Is a bit sad. Yeah, I mean, she's vengeful, though. Honestly, Odysseus in the Odyssey is more sad than Melinoe. Is that how you say it? I know everyone just says Mel. This song I do not think is near the top of the soundtrack in terms of best songs, but one thing I will say about the song is it really does feel like, okay, we're at the home stretch, you know? Got a big, daunting task. if it's the moment. Melinaway, yeah. Game made me sad with about depression, yeah. I think this is because a lot of video games are basically refuse to make the player anything but happy or scared. Which is also very true of big budget movies as well. And the biggest example of that I can even think of is Rise of Skywalker, which you might say, no, that movie could get a little bit sad. Remember when Chewbacca died? And it's like, yeah, he died for literally 5 seconds because the movie refused to make you sad. If something's sad, it needs to be like cathartically sad. Not like people are somewhat rightfully freaking out over Hamnet, which is a good movie. It's a very sad movie. It's probably one of the sadder movies that I've seen in years. But it's also not like depressingly, I mean, it is depressingly sad, but in a way where it really like elevates the ending of it. But I think that one of the reasons why it really works for 2025 is that there's just such a gulf of movies that are looking to make you sad. You're gonna threaten death, you have to make the audience think you can pulse, otherwise it doesn't. Yeah, which was why I just think that Chewbacca not actually dying in Rise of Skywalker is just so funny. The person next to me audibly groaned. 20 stream streak? Congrats, that's awesome. You still only get 450? I feel like you should get at least 600 once it gets to 20. That's awesome. Congrats. Okay, whatever. I'm changing characters anyways. Should get your 55,000 points back. So true. I didn't like that jump. Am I gonna teleport to? Dude, I'm psyching myself out of this jump. Pissed you off. What do you think about Chrono Trigger? Mental health issues about depression, yeah. And I mean, granted, a lot of games about mental health issues are about depression, but then like, there's just not, I don't know, there's just not that many games about depression like at all. Not enough to where I think that that stereotype should exist. And remember, oh, they in Chrono Trigger spoilers. I don't know. I don't need to spoil it. What? How many bandages do I have? What? To me, yeah, it did. Oh. It does make me think, though, how interesting of a phenomenon that it is when you first, like, learn about something. You start noticing it more and more out in the wild. That's, like, such a crazy thing to me. I remember it wasn't the first time I had learned about ayahuasca, but I did remember, like, hearing there was just something about ayahuasca that I had read. And then I watched the movie Queer. And in that, Daniel Craig goes on like a spirit journey taking ayahuasca, and it's like a major part of the movie. And then there was like the whole thing about how Aaron Rodgers took ayahuasca, and then I saw like many jokes talking about it. And this was all within like a 1 week period where it had all just like come back. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's like big ayahuasca just like pushing it onto my feed. What's happening? What's up, markers? Oh, I do this with Nija. And I honestly haven't seen ayahuasca really talked about that much since. But I just remember the first time that I saw it, I had to like Google it to remember like what it was. And then it kept popping up. Ayahuasca? Pinstripe? I don't even know what. I wouldn't say Gunbrella is about depression. In like, I don't know. Gunbrella has gotta be, I don't know, it's like in line with the other two games by, I forget the name of the dev, Doinksoft. Should be better than it is. I think that Gato Roboto was like really good because you could almost tell from a mile away that it wasn't gonna be like some super in-depth game. In-depth not really being the right word, but you know what I mean. But Gunbrella felt like it was going to be a little bit more, and it never got there. Cool game though. Meat Boys about depression, that's so right. Ayahuasca.
Chapter complete.
That's all you really expect from it? Yeah. I think that Gunbrella and Gato Roboto are similarly as good games. It's just that like if I were to think about it, I would think like, oh, Gato Roboto, that game's so much better. But not really. Yeah, I think both of them were decently fun. I think one thing that actually makes Gato Roboto better is that it's like a 4-hour game. And too many Metroidvanias are just too long. There should be more like 6-hour Metroidvanias. Too many times I feel like the devs feel like they need to make it like a 12-hour game. And unless you're like have really good platforming mechanics like Ori, I just don't want that. Even the Will of the Wisps I think was too long, but that game was much more combat focused than the first one. I'm sort of out of touch with the Ori community these days. Do people consider the first one better than the second one, or what's the general opinion on that? $10.15 is definitely the sweet spot. I just think there should be more shorter ones. I think like devs start their Metroidvania with the idea that it is 10 to 15 hours in mind, but like the Mummy Demastered, that's like a 8-hour game. You can 100% that game in like 10 hours. That game fucking rules. If you don't remember, they made like a new Mummy like what, 10 years ago now? A little bit ago. They made a game, The Mummy Demastered. That game goes unnecessarily hard. Remember like 4 years ago when there was a meme about how like this game dev didn't need to go this hard with this song. But it's like, yes, they did. That's their job. The Mummy Demastered, like, it's the same thing. Like, did they need to go that hard? Yes, it's their job. But it was just so good. Way Forward, I believe. Back when Way Forward was still good. Most people say 2 is better. The weakest part of Ori is the gameplay. That's certainly true of 2. That's certainly true of 2. The story of Ori in 2 is definitely better. But I think 1 has like way more memorable moments. I think the reason why I'm not as big on 2 is probably the same reason why a lot of people are really big on 2, more so than 1, is because it was very, very obviously influenced by Hollow Knight. What's up, Quebeca? I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'm gonna run ads because why not? I'll be back in a minute.
The end! Chapter complete!
I'm back. I kind of don't like taking a break right before like Cotton. However, I really needed to go to the bathroom. But I really did not want to take a break. So We'll see if it matters. All right. No, too low. That's fine. I was using the bathroom. I saw a post from like the editor-in-chief of The Onion in which they described Blue Sky as like a website that is primarily jokes. And at first I wanted to like back against it in my mind because I find that Blue Sky is like just not very funny. And then I realized that actually that those two don't contradict each other at all. They were like, the threads is like, I forget how they described it, but just like pseudo big. It has like a faux scale to it, even though not that many people use it. Twitter is for rage bait and Blue Sky is for jokes, and it's like, I feel like that implies Blue Sky is funny, and it's not to say there's not plenty of funny things on Blue Sky, it's just when I think of all of the places that I go looking for jokes, that's like pretty much the bottom of the list. But then I thought about it, and a lot of people on Blue Sky do joke around a lot. They're just not very funny. Blue Sky humor is the, like, you know those posts where they'll be like, you know, so-and-so voice, and then they'll say the joke that way to make sure that you know that it was like, oh, Eddie Vedder voice, Jeremy, and then the joke is just saying Jeremy, referencing Pearl Jam, but they have to like make sure that you get the joke by putting in the actual like explanation of the punchline of the joke. To me, that is Blue Sky humor. I will say that I do like completely disagree with the idea that like if you have to explain, like if a joke is explained, it just removes all of the humor. That's not true at all. But I do think that if the joke is that it's being explained, it's a quote, bro. Yeah, exactly. Like, in my opinion, it's not to say that if you have to like explain something, it's not funny. Again, it's just if that has to be part of your joke, it's just, man, just leave that part out. Any better voice even flow. So true. It's amazing work. When is it ever enough? It's never enough. What's up, Osborne? So that's the name of a Turnstile song, but in my mind it was like, oh, that's a song, and you know what popped into my head was the there's a Daft Punk song featuring at least Panda Bear. I think it's just Panda Bear. What's that song? Daft Punk featuring Panda Bear. Doing it right. So as you can see, just no correlation. Thanks for following me on this journey. So true, narcolepsy. For real though, that to me does feel, I think the problem is that because of I follow so many sports accounts, so many people are like that. Although the politics accounts are like that too. But 75% of Blue Sky is politics, I feel. Which makes sense when you remember 75% of the people who are on Blue Sky are there because of political reasons. All right. Haven't been able to get past Dark Cotton recently, but getting here consistently. Friday was like the only day that I haven't been able to get here in the past week. So we'll see. Should finish my Dr. Pepper. All right, my most practiced split. Let's do it. Nice. When I quit out, you know what I'm always like, oh, I wish that wouldn't happen in a run, but you know how I've like reconstructed it in my mind is, you know, like skateboarders, when they'll do tricks, sometimes they'll bail out if they're not, you know, ooh, I'm not feeling this one. I don't think this one has it. They bail out. Do you just want to see them crash? Nah. Obviously, they also would rather just get, you know, their 900 first try, but what's up, fellas? Thanks for the GL Deuterino. Hope you're having a good one. About bedtime? Yeah, it is late for you. It's midnight. A lot of video games. What video games you've been playing? No, 171X is the hardest level in this. I'm like, it is the hardest level. That fall down in between those two saw blades, in like the middle before you get to the floor, it's actually really hard. It's actually not that easy. But it is like 5 times easier than that jump up and around that saw blade. That is a really hard jump. Be careful. I haven't been close on either of those actually. What's up, Rated? All right. I could just fall back down there, but I'd rather not. There we go. With this strat, you actually have so much time to pull off the wall, but what happens is I get nervous and then I start pulling off earlier, so I just needed to give myself a second to like recalibrate. If I could replace one level in the game just completely, it would be this one. Okay, we just gotta wait. It's not even hard is the thing. It's just, it's so compact and really annoying and has diagonal blocks. You might think it'd be like a harder level and replaced with an easier one. No. You got so lucky. I mean, really on your first, wherever your first deathless one is usually pretty lucky. Level 12. Okay, I'm gonna stop thinking for a second. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That one is really easy. Hate that level so much though. Oh gosh. Whoa. Okay. Not even close. No, not even close. All right. Okay. I hadn't died to that level in forever, right? And then I died to it a few weeks ago. Not even a few weeks ago, a few days ago, right? I've died to it so much since, but I've also probably played this level like 300 times. It scares the shit out of me now. It's not gonna not scare the shit out of me for probably ever, actually. I don't know if that was actually very smart, but it worked. If I didn't do that, I'd have to restart it, and I actually really hate the beginning of the level when you're not coming from 717. It's been so long since I've gotten to Dark Rapture Deathless that I had me thinking about that Frozen song. I also hate it. As far as this goes, it's not the... It probably is... It's at least the top 3 most difficult one. Individually speaking, there's not... Let It Go. First time in forever. Last time I got there, I honestly hadn't heard the Frozen soundtrack so much, but now my daughter really loves Frozen. But anyways, it's just so much harder to practice 720X because it's so fucking long. It's so annoying to practice. Like where I can get like through 717X like legitimately 10 times for each time I go through each time I go through 720X. No, it is Nyjah. Nice. Looks a lot cooler on PC. Do you just mean Nyjah? Nyjah is really cool. The console exclusive characters are just not very good. Spelunky is really cool though. I do really like Spelunky as a character, and he does have his usage, but it's basically only for ILing. And there's like a good 20 levels where Spelunky's actually really good. But like in terms of above even Nyjah, but Pink Gish, Pink Knight, yeah, because Gish is just Headcrab. Pink Knight is just Joseph. And Tim is in this. Tim is in the PC version. You just gotta type in a code. Alright, gotta be careful here. Yeah, Ogmo rules. Okay, dude. God. Whatever. Morally posted cheat codes, it's true. Hate getting Ogmo. I do hate getting him. Because here's the reason why I hate getting him. Is because getting implies I don't already have Ogmo, and I should have Ogmo at all times. Okay, be careful. For this, it's like there's just two jumps that are just kind of hard. It's not even that bad. It's just like for a speedrun, I don't even think about it. Because for a speedrun, it's like you don't lose much time at all. He has a really fast spawn and he has a quick death animation, and that jump is like within the first 2 seconds of a level. Whoa. Come on. Nope. That sucks. Cool. Uplifted. Just for good luck. Can you please? Oh my god, dude. Alright, glitch girl. Give me a solid. That was a really late jump. Got it though. All right, that stinks a little bit, but not that much. It's like a 5% chance that Glitch Girl would be there anyways. The reason why I wanted Glitch Girl there is I wouldn't have had to replay the level to do this. But it has made no difference. It's over, yes. No reason to even keep going if I didn't get the 520x Glitch Girl. Maybe I just forgot. Dang. No, I didn't do it. Okay, not bad. All right. Let's do this. You know what? I should not have done that fall. I need to remind myself of this now. You can die. You can die doing that. I wouldn't, like, would I have been mad if I died there? Yes. I couldn't even, like, blame the game because I know that you can die doing that. Like, that would not be the game's fault. It'd be the game's fault if I, like, didn't know that you could die like that, but you have to be closer to the middle for that to really kill you for whatever reason. I think that these platforms might be like too two different like assets pushed together, and that's why it kills you, but I don't know for sure. What's up, weather guy? So true. You're so right. What's up, Satan? Thanks for the GL. Appreciate it. Hope PopCap for charity went well. I really only watched that Zuma run, which was nice to have on the side while I played Metroid Prime. Nice to get a little free level here. Wow, 1,600 bucks. GG. Cool. All right. Some tough levels in here. 91%. What's up, Kurte? How's it going? Good to see you. I remembered not to do the full strap there. Good. Sometimes you can like auto jump off of the corner of a block somehow. I don't even know how that works. You can just start flying. Okay, I believe that's a PB. We should be at 93%. Or still 92, but we're still past the glitch level and the warp zone. So U2s. Nice. That's cool. Shout out to Ogmo, my goat. What's up, Stagnant Bean?
Super Meat Boy.
95%. 95%. All right. Some tough levels in here. Some tough levels remaining. Glad I practiced this split before the run. I hate clipping there at the bottom because I can very easily go and jump and hit banter without going over. It's just like an unneeded thing. But if you're fast enough, you can actually over jump that and you're perfectly safe. But I did not think I hit that block that was second from the top. Okay, no funny business here. Do you know that if you're on the block, those, you know, the block that the things shoot out, if you're on the block that's on top of it, and when it's shooting out, you die? Found that out, I don't know, it's probably 6 months ago now. Yes. That was the scariest level remaining. Was 26X. There's still some hard levels to go. Still some hard levels. Okay. Here's the thing. Could have saved that too. I don't know how that happened. Bullshit. I'm just gonna restart from there. Commander Video would never end the run, dude. He never has and he never will. All right. I probably died on Commander Video before in Forest. Oh, actually, he has on that one hell level. Oh, no, I don't know if that ever ended a run. That was stupid, dude. What? I can't believe you tried to get censored for saying transgender meat girl. What's up, Mass? Come on, dude. Okay, that's fine. Smart to do. I kind of hate this cycle, though. It's not even more dangerous or anything. I just don't like it. I just have to remember to jump at the bottom instead of dash. Okay, Glitch Girl would be cool. So I have to play 210X again. I'm gonna double check really quick. Okay. What if I did do it? What if I had already done it? Sit there for like 5 minutes. Of course, it's Commander video. Can't I grind it with Steve? Oh, maybe. And by maybe, I mean yeah. Never considered that though.
Super Meat Boy.
So, if you flash back hour 45 minutes ago, I just finished Dark Hospital. Just want to remind me what I said. It was, I don't need to practice Dark End. I could, but I don't need to. Yes. Right. Careful here. All right, so technically, whoops. Technically, I've already gotten this like 2 levels or 3 levels ago, but this is not a lie. I do have this, by the way. However, okay, I obviously have to do the final boss. I kind of hate that I have it on the final boss. Everything else, I'm like, do the hard thing early, and then this, I'm like, no, I want to do it on the credits. That is the first time 106% has been achieved without any deaths. So I want it to be on the credits, Narcolepsy. Bad choice, though. We're doing the real ending. This should be it. If not, I'll cry. Let's go. Let's go, dude. Thank you for the 2,000 bits. I cannot believe it, dude. Oh, I've been doing this way too long. Oh my gosh. There's no way. Dude, I gotta go to work tomorrow. It's not that it's late, I shouldn't have to go to work. What's up, Xander? Thanks for the GGs. Thanks for the GGs, everybody. What's up, Mark C? Everybody. Stars going out. Thanks for the congrats. Jibs. Osborne. Clyde with the limited time offer. Huge. Huge, huge, huge. I have to play Silk Song now? Yeah. So true. I'll be honest. I'm not saying that I wasn't nervous because I was very nervous at the end there. But I was way less I was way more nervous just in Dark Cotton. Once I got past Dark Hell 2, it was like relatively fine. I got super nervous whenever I had like any tiny slip up. But like, Kotaku article. I'm gonna be emailing everyone. Kotaku, IGN, CNN, Chefs Illustrated. They're all gonna hear about it. Nearly my Commander video, yeah. We get to watch the credits. I already know it's a 106 rank, so we checked before the credits. Unironically, yeah. I will unironically email IGN and Polygon and whoever the hell. 716X, yeah, that was that close. Although, in fairness, every single run of this is gonna have deaths that are like that close. I'm so glad that it's over, dude. I'm so glad it's over. Not even in like a this wasn't fun kind of way, because it was, but like, man. Now what? Hold up, I'll be right back. I gotta go grab a celebratory.
The end! Chapter complete!
Got 2. Max percent no good. Good idea. Gotta prove it wasn't a fluke. Yeah. Gotta do it without changing characters. All right, let's see. Let's go, dude. Let's go. All right, I gotta post it to the socials. I'm going to Disneyland. Got a Canada Dry 0 here. Thumbnail face. Or maybe it's like the DreamWorks face. I can't do it.